top 5 things you would bring Taylor on his 28-hour trip from hell. Thank you, Game Time. Number 5, tissues. You know there's going to be some crying.
Number 5 for me is a kind of a combo. It's the tiny toothpaste and toothbrush you get from the dentist whenever you're walking out after a cleaning.
Number 4, I would give him a Tana French book. Classic mystery.
What is that?
Oh, my favorite author, bro. Writes the best crime mystery novels. Check it out.
No. Who reads books?
And I read those. I don't consume them. I read them.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, Mr. Cody. Number 4 for me would be some wet wipes, specifically degradable ones. Don't want to clog up no pipes on those trains.
That's a good one. I might change my list, but no, I'm not gonna. Liquid IV. It's a long time. You got to stay hydrated. You don't want to be cramping on that train.
And that's a sponsor. So, is it a sponsor?
At some point, they've been mentioned periodically. Tony's talked about them. Sugar-free, blah, blah, blah.
Sugar-free, blah, blah, blah. For me, number 3, I would bring him a bag of some flaming hot cheddar and sour cream Ruffles because product placement. Even though they stopped running my commercial and they run this new one and has me in my feelings a bit. Don't like it.
The best hot chips, Brian. You have chosen well, sir. No hot chip tops those ones for sure.
He gets it.
Number 2, trail mix. A good, nice snack. Mix that salty and sweet up. Some sort of trail mix.
Nah. Big thumbs down. You don't need that. He's going into hell. You don't need no trail mix. You don't need some. You know what he needs? He needs my number 2 thing I would bring Taylor if he was Amtrakking through my town on the way to the worst game of his life. And that is a bottle of Hennessy because that boy gonna need it.
You know, I think I'm throwing myself under the bus here, but I think your list is winning. My number 1 thing I'd bring Taylor, deodorant.
Okay. Any specific deodorant of choice?
Like a Speed Stick, cheap one. Something that you can get 2-pack and get one for yourself, give one to Taylor, right?
Okay, keep one in the car until it melts.
I'm not breaking the bank for
Taylor.
For a Taylor deodorant run. You're getting bottom of the barrel deodorant, sir.
And number 1 thing I would bring Taylor if he was Amtrak through my town headed to a Knicks game is an extra pair of drawers because like that cognac, that boy gon' need it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fan Lebitard Show. Did you miss us? The fastest growing Dan Lebitard Show fan YouTube channel. That's us. We're fast. Fans of that Dan Lebitard Show. And if you're checking us on the YouTube, you might have noticed we're over those 1,000 subscribers, folks. We're growing. Level 1 monetization. We're so close to that level 2, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe it? But it's been a while since you've seen us.
I took you off your game with the air horns.
And I've been off my game. No shot. Sick kids, but we're back. We're healthy.
We're back, baby.
And we're here, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to start same place the show did. Knicks, 76ers, crazy finish. I suggested the show should have started pretending like they were talking about the Knicks 76ers, but actually make it about the Marlins' big comeback win. Didn't happen. But it was a crazy game. I mean, up 6, less than 30 seconds, and Maxey will not be denied. I was thoroughly impressed by that performance, and I'm really hoping the 76ers take this to 7 and knock the Knicks out. That would be the best content for the show for me. And if it
I
happens, I got a parody song
if
for
it happens. Oh, okay. All right. I have to admit that I missed the entire game. So when I
No.
found out what happened, I was because I watched game one, I watched game two, I
Mm-hmm.
watched game
Of
three,
course. All the
mainly
games.
because I was on Bell's palsy alert.
Mm-hmm.
Embiid's battle with Bell palsy has been something that has grasped my entire household to the
Wow.
point where like we're genuinely concerned for him. And when you watch the game, I'm watching him to see his eye, to see if he maybe is on the mend. And it doesn't appear as if he is. So I was taken aback when I found out this game got to this point and I actually missed it. But after I kind of, okay, Maxi did that over
Oh.
him. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't, why is it I don't hear more people talking about what happened in OT?
With Brunson, are we referring to the Brunson
I'm just
misstep?
referring to OT period.
OT
Like
period.
this this moment has clearly been could we say a me maximum moment
Oh,
for
Bryan.
Tyrese, right? But we're focusing on the shot that tied it, right? To send it to OT. Why am I not hearing? Because then I was listening to today's show. Sam was saying how they came out, scored 5 points out the gate in OT, but I didn't hear anything after that. So you tell me from your coveted basketball eye, what went down in OT and how come the Knicks fumbled this one away?
It was this more the same. It was Tyrese Maxey not being denied. I mean, Knicks came out, they got the lead again, and Maxey stormed back. And this time, when the 76ers had the slight lead towards the end, they were able to do what the Knicks could not and shut the door. Tobias Harris hits 2 free throws, makes it a 4-point game with 15 seconds left. Everybody, all those Knicks fans want to talk about all that heart that Josh Hart has, but maybe he's got a little too much heart and he's got to slow his heart down at the line and make those 2 free throws. Josh Hart not getting it done. Jalen Brunson not getting it done either. Choking at big moments. Stu hammered on Mitchell for the foul, right? But the foul doesn't matter if Josh Hart hits both free throws. You're down 2, and Brunson, he just got caught up in the air. Like, even what are you thinking of? You're going to pass it to Hartenstein. Like, what's he going to do it other than, like, give it right back to you? That was a mistake by Brunson. So, falling apart in clutch moments for the Knicks, and I hope it continues.
Is this a situation where, because this has been a real barn burner of a series, despite there being a clear difference in what appears to be on the court talent at times, every game has kind of had something about it that made you go, a couple moments, this game could have went a completely different way and the series could be tied up or, 3-2 in Philly's favor. With that being said, are these moments so prevalent in this series because of the low quality of these two teams? I'm not calling them low because they're still in the playoffs, right? But in terms of all of the playoff teams, the sloppiness that seems to be kind of allowing these moments to come forward, is that a result of how kind of these teams are?
I disagree, Bryan. I don't think it's sloppiness. I think it's competitive games. I think the Knicks do have grit, right? And sometimes I think it was game 2 that the Knicks had their improbable comeback with the 76ers up 5 late, blowing it. I think that's the Knicks grit that won them that game.
The fouls that weren't called.
Sure, you could say that, but the NBA clearly has their agenda to let the players play a lot more. I mean, if me maximum
Then they released the
report. They did.
that,
if me maximum is the phrase for the show, the phrase for the playoffs is fouls minimum, right? We've heard that phrase over and over again. The contact made was minimum and did not affect the play. Reverse the call. So me minimum for the refs there, but me maximum for Greg Cote on the show. I think it's the grit and then the talent for Philadelphia. Philadelphia is the more talented team. Maxey and Embiid are probably the two best players in the series, and Maxey and Brunson maybe have gone back and forth in who's the second best player, and it was clearly Maxey in that most recent game, and that talent allowed Philadelphia to come back. So I don't think these are lesser teams. Philadelphia, if Joel Embiid's healthy all season, the Sixers are not a 7 seed. They're much, much better with a healthy Joel Embiid. Now, can he stay healthy? Doesn't look like it, but I think these are two talented teams that either one of these teams that advance is going to probably make it past the next opponent unless the Bucks pull off the improbable and manage to get healthy for the second round. But I think the Pacers are going to finish them off.
And mind you, because we got a lot of playoff ball to talk about, but I wasn't questioning their talent. I might have said that. I'm more so questioning how good the teams are.
What's the difference?
At using said talent.
Good at using.
Because you just said it. What were the Knicks able to do last night? Excuse me. Unable to do last night. Unable to do last night that the Sixers were able to do. And it's closed the door, right? Good teams close the door. Mm-hmm. There's been, I want to say, a Ninja Turtle handful of times this series where teams gave us memorable moments solely because the opposing team could not close the door. It's kind of like if you have a game with Jameis Winston and Brett Favre, you're going to see some pick sixes and you're going to watch it until there's triple zeros, because guess what? If he has to throw the last play of the game, anything is possible. And I kind of feel a little bit of the same with this series versus the Cavaliers Orlando series, where I haven't watched a lick of, despite them having an exciting game last night as well. I haven't watched a lick of it because you're not going to get those big moments of players I know fucking up. Mm-hmm. And it makes it exciting. Don't get me wrong. It makes it exciting. Watching a boxer who doesn't defend makes me want to watch the boxer not defend and have something happen, right? It's watching NASCAR for accidents, knock on wood. But, I like it. I'm not against it. I just, it's not like we're exactly watching, high quality basketball. Not high talented, but high quality. That's all I'm saying.
Well, speaking of closed doors or inability to close the doors, LeBron James may have had his Laker door closed on him by Jamal Murray, taking him down twice, 2-game winners against them, and LeBron's inability to close the door versus the Nuggets and them just shutting it down. LeBron James, Lakers. I think he's done as a Laker. Your thoughts, Bryan?
I'm not trying to say I told you first. I am not trying to say that. I don't want to be that guy. I do not want to be that guy, but credit needs to go where credit needs to go. And I was texting a buddy of mine. He's a cameraman. He shoots G League ball. He shoots NFL ball. He's in the sports scene, and you won't be able to see this, but trust me, it's here.
A phone. Bryan's holding his phone up.
To all those on audio, my bad. I'm holding my phone up. He is an Android texter. Sorry. I don't.
So gross.
It's not Roy Bellamy.
So
I don't want to say his name, but this guy, yeah.
Disgusted.
Monday, 2:33 p.m. I said to him, if LeBron loses tonight, this will be his last game in Lakers colors.
Wow.
He also asked me, well, where do you think he ends up? And I said, you got to subscribe for that info for less than a cup of coffee in most metropolitan areas. So I didn't tell him that. But I will say this. The tea leaves have been tea leaving. right?
Oh yeah.
We haven't seen some are saying the thing that really encouraged Kendrick Lamar to drop that scalding hot water of a diss track towards that Canadian man up north was what Jamal did to his brethren in LA
Ooh.
the night prior. So I'm just saying, LeBron is officially done with LA. He will not be in Lakers colors again unless he's doing a photo shoot for something else. Hearing it here first.
I'm 110% behind you, Bryan, on this. He's gone. All right. And you don't need any more proof that that team's just not cutting it, right? I don't know what they could do to change it other than LeBron needs to go join another team that's closer. Okay. Plain and simple. He's out as a Laker. I personally, everyone brings up New York. I'd love to see him go to the Knicks and see what happens.
Yeah. LA, get Devin Booker and LeBron next. LA, my bad. Oops, sorry. Oops. Freudian slip.
Clippers? What?
You know
They're going to keep getting more people?
I was just about to say. Right? What I love about LeBron that we would never get from Michael, and rest his soul, we never got from Kobe, and we won't get from Steph because Steph is too loyal. He is aware of his power, and he's also already broken the seal on knowing he can place that power in different areas around this country and make shit happen. Clearly, he's at a point where he needs a little bit more help than he's ever needed, right? Anthony Davis, hats off to Anthony Davis. I won't take it off, but hats off to Anthony Davis. He played his ass off this series. And that just shows you how big of a gulf there is between that Nuggets team and a great LeBron. He had his best stats for any season as a Laker, and AD. And AD played the whole, outside of the little stinger and some other issues, he played the whole series, and you just couldn't do anything. I like him in the East so he can rest them tires of his all the way into the finals.
Great point.
And I want to see him and Devin Booker with Jalen Brunson on the Knicks. That'd be fun. Or the Clippers. I like the Clippers, but I just don't think the Clippers got enough there that would consistent. Or how about this? What if KD, Steph, and LeBron, KD, Steph, LeBron, just saying, come home, KD, they, just saying,
home to the Warriors,
home to the one place where he arguably not only led a team, but didn't have to lead a team.
Yeah.
Just saying. Let's get 2K with it.
I agree, Bryan. But I think great point. He's got to go east. He's got to go back east. LeBron, go back east. The West, it's too deep. Get out of there. You're going to get beat up. You're going to have to work like so hard to make the play in and all that. Like, you get out of the West, bro. You're an East Coast kind of guy. Go back to that East Coast.
I'm going to hit up Tom Haberstroh, and I'm going to ask him, if LeBron did not play all those years in the East with Cleveland beforehand and after, how many years could he, by his estimates, have made it to the finals if he was in the West? Like, just what is the land? Is it one of them things where, what did he go to the finals? How many times in a row? 13, 8? What's the number?
9, 10.
I can look it up.
9 times.
Let's play with
9 times.
I want to know.
Times.
It was 8.
It was like four times with the Heat, and then was it 4 times?
Consecutive appearances.
8 consecutive appearances. So
okay, so out of those 8 consecutive appearances, if the Cavaliers was a West Coast team, because we know the answer if it was with the Heat that they're going right. If those or maybe not, maybe they run into the Mavericks earlier and right, but I feel like that'd be too much math for him. But it is Haberstroh; he knows what he's doing. I just want to know.
It.
Does those 8 consecutive appearances look like maybe 5, maybe 4, and then like 2 with a gap? I'm interested because I want to know how much him playing in such a dismal conference helped him get to those final positions.
Yeah. It's got to be making a difference, but he is out with the Lakers. And now, Bryan, I've got a little bit of beef with you because when I look at our show rundown, I see a phrase where you're questioning why Mike Ryan is still around so much. And I'm like, what is... You got a problem with Mike, bro? You better take it up with... How did that get on this rundown? What do you mean? Mike's not... I was like, oh, wow. Surprise Mike Ryan in hour 2 talking with Poppy, popping in. I love a good Mike Ryan pop in. And apparently, for somebody, we're wondering, why is Mike sticking around so much? And I'm like, Mike, come back whenever you want, dude.
You just said a key phrase. You said a pop in.
Uh-huh.
Pop in can only exist if majority of the time you're actually popped out. And since he stepped away, and to by all means do what you need to do for your mental health in your career, Mike. I'm not hating you for that. I love that. But since you stepped away and tangibly damaged the show by doing so, you have been around way more than a diehard Heat fan cares to see. I don't like that Mike Ryan is able to come in, spew that toxic, degrade.
I see. Go ahead. I see what this is.
Misinformed, malentroped heat, negative talk, and then just ninja bomb out to come back in a day later to talk Panthers hockey or Mariners ball. No one cares about that. Okay, if I want hockey, I'm gonna get it from the puck guys, from the puck boys. If I want hockey, if I want baseball, I'll get it from the most avid baseball watcher on the show, Stugatz, or Billy, or Dan and his Rays.
Definitely Dan.
Because what it's giving. I want to avoid accountability, so I'm not there when they do something Heat-like and pull off a game 2 with historic numbers. Just show up, but then just show up to go, I told you show, and bite your thumb at those who want to hear genuine Heat content. Listen, all I'm saying is there's going to come a day where y'all going to look for Jeremy Taché, and he's going to say, I'm busy. And they're going to go, why? You know why? Because I'm with TNT calling tonight's game. Because the way that y'all treat Jeremy for being the most, in my eyes, one of the most accomplished people there, is gross. I won't stand for it. The fans won't stand for it. They actually would. They care. They don't care. They hate Jeremy. All I'm saying is, Jeremy. Mike, you got to chill. Stop showing up just when you want to talk shit and then bouncing. That's all I'm saying.
Do you think there's a coincidence, Bryan, that after Mike Ryan was hardest on the Heat, that they had their best performance? Do you think that's a coincidence? If you don't think that Mike Ryan knows what this team needs to get a rise out of them, to play to their best, then you're wrong. And if you think Mike Ryan doesn't know ball, then you're wrong, sir. I could not disagree with you more. Mike Ryan, pop in whenever you want to share what you want to say. Let us know what the group chat thinks. The group chat was right about the Florida Panthers, by the way. But the group chat, I'd say, might have been wrong for the Cesta Cyclones. Their season is hanging by a thread. But Mike Ryan, pop in.
Almost like if he spent less time on a Miami-based radio show, podcast,
don't say that, Bryan.
digital space. If he spent less time down talking the team that put the 305 on the collective sports map,
the Cesta Cyclones,
and spent more time talking about that team in the battle court that actually needs some attention, then maybe we would be having a better season right now. All I'm saying is in regards to him and him motivating the Heat to play better, I got people on the inside, and not just Jeremy Taché. I got people on the inside, and you know what they say? Just
What?
like Evelyn said in 2017 on an episode of Basketball Wives, Mike Ryan, you are a non-motherfucking factor.
What?
What the Heat do. You are not.
And that's the problem,
Okay,
Bryan. That's the problem. Because Mike has. You think this team is getting swept in the first round if they do what Mike says and they're successful at, say, picking up a Donovan Mitchell?
We're not talking about...
KD needs the culture, not the talent around him. He needs better culture. Heat culture
KD
would
is on
not let
boarding
KD
group.
get swept.
KD is in boarding group 1 to Cancun right now. Don't tell us what KD needs. He
Not
also
if he's
said,
right.
go after
Culture.
Beal. Look, we're Beal, I don't get swept, Beal. Yeah, we've seen what he's done. I'm not saying they missed out on these stars. I agree. But what I'm saying is you thinking you negatively tough loving them is going to force them into wins. Well, guess what? If that's the case, you've been talking shit all year, all season. This team should be undefeated right now with how much you talk shit about this team. Just saying. You know what? Speaking of sayings,
Yeah. You don't even know what you're saying. But we'll move on.
Speaking of sayings, you know who doesn't just show up every now and then to talk shit, but shows up every week to bring us
say his name.
Hits. You know I'm critical of him. I'm critical of him at times. But that man Greg Cote, he's been on a heater.
Yes, sir.
I used to think that Greg Cote, and I might still be up for debate. I think he might steal some stuff, specifically to his brother. But I love that every single time he's on the show, I can walk away knowing I might be introduced to a new phrase by a white man from Florida that can all of a sudden make its way into my life.
Bidap.
Bidap.
Hee-haw 3.
I said that at my daughter's softball game yesterday.
Oh, wow, you did. I'm proud of you, Bryan. You know what? Yeah. We just had some conflict. It all goes away that I know that somewhere out there across the country, you're out there hee-haw 3ing at your daughter's softball game. I mean, that makes everything all right with me, sir. But Greg Cote, I mean, I was thinking the same thing, Bryan. I'm like, how does one man have so many ridiculous phrases that keep coming out? Me maximum. Like just picturing that and envisioning a person who talks that way, like instead of just saying, hey, could you got like a normal person, could you please turn off the TV? Just say, turn off the TV, me maximum.
It's such a barbaric Cro-Magnon way to live your life. But I argue, what's wrong with the way that they did things?
Wow.
We would probably get along better as a society if we just said things followed by what you desire. Your pronoun or what is me? You're the school teacher. What is me? Is that an adverb? What is that?
This is a pronoun.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you say your pronoun,
what a pronoun wants.
Yeah, what a pronoun needs.
Yeah. Whatever.
You're supposed to keep going. So
whatever makes a pronoun happy or something like that.
And whatever sets a pronoun free. Do you hate that commercial?
You know, I hadn't really I'd only seen the commercial on mute. I'd actually only heard it recently until a couple days ago. Yeah. And definitely the like 2 or 3 times that I've heard it, I can understand everyone's ire about that commercial. It is not good. It is
Allow
awful.
me to tell you why. It's the last line of the song. That's it. It's not the fact that they sound like they actually don't want to do it. It's not that somewhat awkward Chet Holmgren thing that he does. It's not that. It's the fact that when they get to that last line, it's almost like the full cut of the commercial got cut. Because it's not, if you're doing a parody of the song, it's not well executed. They have like one too many syllables in there. It's just weird. And I think that is the thing that's getting to us, because us as millennials, we got to realize now they're making commercials to aim at us, right? Because we're the old folks now. So when they get to that, what a pro wants, what a pro needs, whatever makes a pro happy and sets a pro free,
You
What's the
and
next
whatever
slide?
the rest of it is, unimportant.
That's the problem.
Not good enough. Yeah.
We're waiting for the proverbial foot to drop in the song, and instead we're left with a black toe of Greg Cote's. Now back to Greg Cote.
I love Greg.
You maximum.
And me maximum. We've had this challenge going with Greg. He's actually passed us in Back in My Days. Been a while since this show's done a Back in My Day, and you would think that with the amount of time that we have not done a Back in the Day, that Greg would have run up the score on us. But right now it's 6-4, Greg. We have not forgotten. Just haven't had the time to sit down and pick my brain at a Back in My Day that I want to write. Quality assurance, folks. Just like Greg Cote says. We'll see. Maybe we'll put some in, pass him back up.
I didn't do one this week because I saw his photo.
Too concerned about Greg, really, to try to beat him in a competition.
Exactly. If I'm going to channel Greg Cote in the form of creating some art, I can't do it while his face looked like that.
Didn't feel right this week. But
as someone who used to get paid very well to drive around the elderly to see if they not drive around, but be in a car with the elderly to assess their driving ability. The concerns about him driving are very much real. I've been in scenarios where I've had to grab steering wheels.
Wow.
Where I've had to command cars to be pulled over and drive back. And these are 70, sometimes 60, no 80-year-old. I think I might have had I think the oldest person I've ever did a road test with was probably like 87, 88. And actually, you know what? He drove pretty good. He actually drove pretty good.
In your professional opinion, Bryan, should Greg Cote become a Brightline boy?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't 100% confirm you won't pass out and or faint, then you don't want to add the variable of a oftentimes 6,000 to maybe 8,000 pound death trap.
Yeah, and it's interesting that the man who coined the phrase "me maximum" has been fainting, living kind of a minimum lifestyle, stifling a cough because he's concerned about the needs of others. Greg Cote, it's time for you to be me maximum on the coughs and just let it rip. I'm sure if you put it on a poll, most fans would say yes to, would you be okay with Greg Cote coughing and infecting you with whatever he has? Yes, as long as I know that he'll never faint again. Absolutely, Greg Cote. Me maximum cough, which has me thinking, Bryan, what are the things that you are the most me maximum about?
There are two things I am most me maximum about. The first one is subtle. It's I need to control what is happening in the space that we are in when eating dinner. Meaning, if music is going to be played, I'm choosing the music, usually jazz, right?
Okay.
If TV is going to be on, I'm choosing what's on there because, I'm me maximum. Maximum. If the lights are going to be adjusted, I am controlling what those lights are going to be adjusted to, how they look, and the temperature. It's a weird thing, I know. The second thing is travel accommodations whenever a plane is involved. Because I am someone who is 6'6", I have a condition. It's called neomyelitis. And I suffer from neomyelitis. And I've been in scenarios where because of neomyelitis, there's been cause for concern on 4-hour, 5-hour, 6-hour flights. So that's where I will not bend on my me maximum when it comes to that. It makes traveling a pain because, expensive, but nonetheless, those are mine. What about yours?
Number one, my me maximum is kids' bedtime. We got to get these kids to bed. Me maximum, because I got stuff I want to do after these kids get to bed, and I need to relax, and I can't do that until the kids are in bed.
Kids.
So, it's bath time. We need to fire up this bath, me maximum, and get these kids in their bed, going to sleep. Now, no wait. Like, me maximum, get the kids to bed. And honestly, that's about it. I can't think of
Okay.
another thing that I'm me maximum on other than like I need to get the kids to bed. And sometimes on the weekends my wife will be like, "Oh, it's Friday, like let the kids stay up." And it's like, "But then
That's
I
how they
have to
ruin their
stay up.
pattern.
I have to stay up later if I want to like watch a TV show or something." Like, no, me maximum. Get the kids to bed every day, same time.
Nathan, the controller of sleep.
That's right. So,
Bryan, the controller of vibes.
but I mean, I sometimes I say this and I don't feel heard, and in some ways I almost feel cursed at my attempts at doing this because I try to put the kids to bed, and you'll be successful at putting them to bed like early, and then they'll take forever to fall asleep and want you to be near them and all that stuff. And then you get the kids into bed at 8 o'clock, and all of a sudden 8:50 rolls around and they're still like awake and wanting you. And that's got me thinking.
It's about patterns.
Yeah.
It's about patterns, right?
Mhm.
And speaking of patterns, like I've seen people, specifically Taylor Villalobos, whatever his last name is. I've seen my own wife. She has a pattern. We were talking about curses, specifically curses when it comes to viewing sporting events in person. This is a real thing that seems to, I feel like if we take a poll, we'll get a real convincing number that some people truly feel like they are the curse for why their team can't win. My wife and I, one of our first dates was a Cowboys game, Cowboys-Giants. She's a big Giants fan, big Cowboys fan. That was one of our first dates. If you want to see if you can make it with a person, go to a sporting event where you guys are rivals early on, and it will tell you everything you need to know. Let's just say since then, we've been to over more than a Ninja Turtle handful of Cowboys and Giants games, both in MetLife, both in AT&T Stadium. She has not seen the Giants win once.
Wow.
In person. And it got to the point. I proposed to my wife at the last Cowboys Giants game we went to. Right? I did the whole on the field before the game, fans and team players celebrating and da 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 da. It was cool and it was awesome and it was pivotal, and she cried, and I'm bringing her through the Miller Lite Lounge after. Touching. And people were like, people think I'm hitting. That didn't sound like you believed it. People thought she was in trouble because she's like crying, and I'm like, the moment, as a man, right? You turn into me maximum. And I'm like, all right, well, now we're off the field. We're now around public people who might not have saw the proposal. So they don't know why you're crying. They just see big black guy and little brown girl. And they're like, why is she in tears? And I'm like, she basically walked around like this for like the next 10 minutes showing people. And that good because I didn't want to get in trouble. Nonetheless, they lost that game, the Giants. And that was the one game where she kind of doesn't mind because, who cares at that point? But I ask you, do you have any curses with live events, or are you familiar? Have you broken any?
I mean, I don't go to that many live sporting events that I could create a pattern. I guess maybe I'm secretly blessed and I need to pass it, like try to do it more, because what is the last live sporting event that I went to? I guess I saw Angels. I saw Shohei Ohtani pitch. Maybe I'm starting to curse them because he's no longer an Angel. And then the last sporting event that I went to after that, I think, if I'm recalling correct, was I went to the Warriors game where Steph Curry set the NBA record for most threes in a game.
Oh.
And then Klay Thompson had to go and beat it one season later or whatever. That was crazy. But if I had to pick like something that was cursed, maybe like not live, I did for a while think that I was possibly cursing the Florida Panthers because the show would talk about them and I'd be like, okay, like I'll watch them playing hockey. And then every single game I would turn on, they would lose. World War I. Smoked. World War II. Smoked by the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I'm like, every time I turn this thing on, Tampa Bay scores. I even would turn it off thinking it would help them. No, didn't matter. I tried to watch and it would go poorly. But now I still watch their last playoff run. They've got this playoff run. And so far it seems like they're doing fine now that I'm watching. So that's the only thing that comes to mind.
I want them to lose so badly.
Why?
I'm
Dude? Why?
sorry.
For
I'm
just
sorry.
the Panthers.
I gotta apologize. I'm such a grief eater.
Oh.
Now the show has turned me into one. And it's partly because last year I loved it. Last year I don't care about hockey, but last year I loved it because at the same time the Heat was breaking history. So I was like, hello, all around, maybe 305, coolo. But now, because the Heat in 7, but because it's looking like things could happen, the NBA rigging things.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, if I'm gonna be miserable, kind of want the rest of the show to be miserable. Miserable company.
I guess, Brian. But I'm the opposite. How can you root against the Florida Panthers? They don't talk that much. They don't talk that much puck. Except now they got their puck boys on Fridays. It's not that much puck. I mean,
they talk a lot of puck.
Brian.
NFL draft, just like this show. NFL draft the next day. They spent the next hour talking about hockey.
They had the whole draft special. They covered it. And
did you watch that, by the way?
I did. I watched, I think, almost all of it live. And then I was like, me maximum, bedtime for the kids. Put the kids to bed. And caught the rest of it live after not live, but caught up on it after the kids went to bed.
Yeah, same. I watched the whole thing. It was an awesome job. I think they did a great job. I like to see stuff like that. More of that, please. More of that.
Absolutely. Because when they do it, it grows the show. Just like this show's growing, folks.
Yeah. We're growing. You're growing with us. We're growing as a group. Us maximum growth. Us maximum growth.